Joining me now is national security analyst and author of Rise, Brigitte Gabriel, and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Excuse me. Doctor, is this really about enforcing an ICC warrant, or are there other personal convictions at play here?
I'm glad you're covering this, David, because this is, let me connect a few dots for you. This is beyond the, sort of dreams of a jihadist in New York City. This is actually, there's a couple Khans in the UK, Karim Khan, who was the ICC attorney that basically started this sham of a court and has been operating to try to prosecute our greatest ally, Prime Minister Natanyahu in Israel. And then also Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, and so many other Islamists globally through Europe and the Muslim Brotherhood. This is part of what they're trying to do. And when they have the opportunity to basically gaslight the world into not targeting real criminals such as, the head of Hamas or Hezbollah or Iran. No, they want to target our allies so that they can continue to gaslight us. So this is part of the Marxist jihadist global red-green axis. And again, the question is, would any police officers in New York City actually listen to him? I don't think so. And this is why he'll surely step away from what he's pretending that he's going to do.
Well, I hope those police officers would not listen as well. Brigitte, I got to get your take on this because you've been sounding the horn on this for decades. I remember a video where you were laying out the playbook, the Muslim Brotherhood playbook, what they want to do, getting to positions of power, lie to the American people, and then once they have enough forces, then they institute jihad. And the peaceful Muslims, I don't know, maybe Dr. Zuhdi, you could share your response. But the peaceful Muslims at that point become irrelevant because the jihadis have the power and they're in charge. So what are your thoughts on what Zohran Mamdani is suggesting there, and how dangerous is this entire push that we're seeing these Democrat socialists, aka Islamists, getting into positions of power? It's happening in Plano, Texas, where they just elected a mayor that's pro-Islam and has the backing of most of the Muslims there. So how dangerous is this that we're seeing take place right now?
Well, Zohran Mamdani is playing for his base that watches and gets their news from TikTok. He knows that the more you double down on your hatred towards Israel, because let's face it, right now the Democratic Party, it's no longer the drift between the moderate and the socialist. It's the drift also against Israel. The more anti-Israel you are, the more traction you're going to get. And look at the publicity he's getting. Nothing has happened yet, but he is all over the news. Talk about free PR. That's exactly what he is after. This is not only supporting him, but it's driving the conversation and empowering the base that is going towards a socialist, communist, democratic party that's holding the reign right now and gaining traction nationwide. It's a publicity stunt. He can't do anything about it. Plus, if you're going to target Netanyahu, what about targeting other nations? What about the Chinese and the genocide they are doing towards the Uyghurs, the Uyghur Muslims in China? What about what the Sudan and Nigeria? What about the millions, 2 million people massacred in Sudan and Nigeria, the Christians? And what about them? Aren't we going to arrest their leaders? If you're going to target Netanyahu for the supposedly, according to Hamas Health Department, killed 45,000 or 60,000 people, what about the people that killed 2 million? What about the people in Iran that killed 45,000 to 65,000 of their own people? You're going to block them from coming as well? If he's going to follow that strategy, we might as well take the UN out of New York, because there are going to be only 3 people attending that conference in New York.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think he is getting the PR, and it's probably going to be a lot of protests that wind up taking place when BB does come, and he's fueling that fire as well. Well, Dr. Jasser, the Iran conflict, it just continues, and U.S. forces are pounding military targets across Iran. The latest attacks come after an Iranian missile and drone strike on a U.S. base in Jordan killed 3 American soldiers over the weekend. President Trump sending a clear warning today on Truth Social, saying, every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for it, that killing many times over. Now, the president will attend the dignified transfer tomorrow at Dover Air Force Base. What are your thoughts? How is Iran still able to get away with doing any kind of damage that would actually kill American soldiers? I thought their military was decimated. They're pretty much wiped out, yet they're still obviously in range to target and kill Americans.
Well, for the first time in 47 years, we have a president that actually is making them look over their shoulder. That is not feeding into the terrorist threat. And this is a terrorist regime. So just like ISIS regenerates itself as in forms of Hamas and other radical groups, IRGC will continue to regenerate itself no matter how many layers we take off until they feel that the damage that they could sustain in the next round of bombings is something that they don't want to sustain. So for the first time, deterrence is on the map. We've never had deterrence for 47 years. They've continued to kill other innocents. So yes, our 3 soldiers, God bless them for giving their lives to this fight. But I know my fellow brothers and sisters in the military know that this fight finally is seeing the beginning of the end of forever wars, because there's no more chance of Hezbollah and others, or at least there's significant decrease in the chance of Hezbollah, the Houthis, and others being fed by the hive mind of Tehran and other military assets that Iran will continue to have. Now, we're going to continue to decimate them, but that process is finally beginning to end rather than continuing into the next administrations.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to continue in the next administration either. Now, President Trump is taking a lot of heat, however, over this conflict. And again, I want to remind everybody that every former president has warned Iran is bad news and can never have a nuke. Watch.
Today, Iran is the principal sponsor of global terrorism.
North Korea is a regime arming with missiles and weapons of mass destruction while starving its citizens. Iran aggressively pursues these weapons and exports terror.
I strongly believe that our national security interest now depends upon preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, which means that without a diplomatic resolution, either I or a future U.S. president would face a decision about whether or not to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon or whether to use our military to stop it.
We will not, let me say it again, we will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
Almost laughable now from every past president, from Bush to Clinton to Barack Obama to Joe, and he wasn't even really there. He's just a paper president, autopin. But they all just kicked the issue down the road, and now President Trump is actually the one finally dealing with it. What are your thoughts? Do you think that President Trump is going to actually be able to get a handle on Iran once and for all? Do you think that there's any way that the IRGC is going to be able to wiggle out of this, stay in the game long enough, wait Trump out, and then come back bigger and stronger than ever? Just a little bit of time left.
That's what the IRGC is hoping for, that they can drag this on until Trump is out of office. Look, we were all 2 weeks away from decimating all their missile capabilities. They only had 1,500 missiles left, which they have now, and about 150 to 175 launchers. And now they're going through them. That's, so we have destroyed 75% of their military capability, and we just needed to finish the job. The unfortunate thing that we did is we went into a ceasefire too early. And you know what? This is the same thing that happened to Israel with Gaza, with Hamas, and this is exactly what we did with Iran. We should not have gone with the ceasefire, but the Arabic states were putting pressure on President Trump, saying, look, they're going to attack us. Let's give them peace a chance. Let's hit the pause button. Let's have a ceasefire. And that's what you end up with. I believe right now we're ramping up the operation, and we're going to continue fighting them. President Trump now knows that negotiations is a wasted time with the Iranians, and he will finish the job.
I think he will as well. One thing I know about President Trump, he hates it when any American's life, especially one of our soldiers, is taken, and he's going to make these terrorists pay. Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, Brigitte Gabriel, God bless you guys. Thanks for joining the Pulse tonight.